And the Rock County Health Department wants to make the commute to school healthier and safer with a new walking school bus initiative.
Grant applications are now open for Rock County schools interested in funding the Walk to School program. NBC 15's Marcus Arsvold joins us live in the studio. And Marcus, it's not a bus with legs. So what does a walking school bus look like?
Correct. It's a principal-approved volunteer meeting students at a public park or picking them up on a route that leads to the school. Rock County health officials say it'll boost physical activity and help students feel safer. Children in Rock County need to be more active, make friends, and form trusting relationships with adults that are not a parent or teacher. At least that's what the Rock County Health Department says, and their solution is a walking school bus.
Having a trusted adult that you can rely on that's outside of your normal network is also a part of it. To feel like you have someone else that you could talk to.
Public health strategist Christine Gunn runs the grant program, offering $1,000 to 5 Rock County schools wanting a walking school bus. She says the program could also improve safety before kids reach crossing guard officials on school grounds.
We've had some incidences in Rock County that unfortunately kids that have been injured or killed from these type of accidents. So we really want to provide extra support so that it doesn't happen again.
The routes can be as close or far away as volunteers are willing to go.
For some of these students that are crossing like really busy intersections outside of the school grounds, or who do live far away, they still might need that extra support.
Janesville parent Bryce Gaidashek welcomes the idea of a walking school bus.
I grew up on Mineral Point, so I walk to school a lot, and I think it'd be a pretty good idea to have a walking school bus.
He thinks an adult on hand could keep kids in line and keep bad individuals away.
More supervision, some kind of protection, somebody there other than just the little kids walking to school back and forth.
Public health officials agree, saying adult presence sooner is safer. Rock County is holding an informational Zoom tomorrow at 3 p.m. Grant applications are due by January 26th. They have to have the program installed by this spring. Live in the studio, Marcus Arsvold, NBC 15 News.